What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Investing Bros. You guys like my new camera angle and the fact that it's also, I think, just a little slanted because that shelf is not slanted. What I changed where my webcam is. I'm just going to stand sideways for the rest of the show. Guys, we do have a good show lined up for you guys today. Make sure you go ahead and smash that like button. We're going to be doing some TA on some of your favorite coins, but also we got an interesting show today because we're going to have two very cool conversations. The number one, according to that thumbnail and title, we're going to be talking more about yesterday's PayPal news. We're going to give all of our thoughts about what that means. Is it a net positive? Isn't it negative? I want to know what you think. Make sure you vote in that poll we just put in chat here at the beginning of the show. We're going to break that down and a lot more. We're also going to be talking about ETFs because this week, Friday, we're supposed to have the deadline for the ARK Invest ETF approval. There's some details, though, that you need to know about, but we are going to be talking about Bitcoin ETFs. And then our third and final segment of today with our new flow of the show, we're going to be just kicking it back and answering some questions, engaging with chat. So make sure towards the end of the show, you guys are dropping questions. You guys are with us in the chat, and we're going to be talking with you guys, having a nice, fun time here on Investing Bros. Like I said, though, go ahead and smash that like button. If this is your first time here, thank you so much for choosing us this morning. And my crooked, again, I don't even know if I'm crooked. I don't know what the angle of the shot is. It just makes it look a little crooked, but I promise you this building is a very solid foundation. We're straight up and straight down over here. You're just dealing with a crooked, little crooked shelf at the moment, but I am joined this morning by my co-host, Mr. T Shroom, joining me from Gainesville, Florida. T Shroom, how are you doing?
Oh, Tim. I'm doing better than I deserve. I really am.
That's good.
Got a lot of sleep last night, feeling rested, feeling ready to dive into these markets. And I've got a really good quote of the day. We're going to keep up the streak here of 2 days in a row. Michael Saylor quotes. He said, "Bitcoin is a swarm of cyber hornets serving the goddess of wisdom, feeding on the fire of truth, exponentially growing even smarter, faster, and stronger behind a wall of encrypted energy." That, of course, coming from Michael Saylor. What do you think about that one?
It's quite strange. It's quite strange, I think. I don't even know what to do with it. A swarm of cyber hornets serving the goddess of wisdom. Sailor's a little bit of a weirdo, isn't he?
I think he's tapped into a little more of his poetic side, a little more creative imagery than maybe you're used to there, Tim.
I don't know. It's not that poetic, mostly just weird. But okay, Sailor. I agree that it's a good thing, I think, is the overarching point of the quote. And we'll rock with it. We'll rock with it, Sailor. A little weird, but we'll rock with it. I just saw in chat someone asked, for those who don't know, we now are going to start doing predictions on Mondays. Someone asked, did T-Shroom win? The answer is no, actually. And here's what's funny is I feel like we should have made it. We should have made the whole prediction 24 hours because both of my predictions have already been filled, my high and my low. At the moment, I am leading the way with the low prediction because I said $28,837. T Shroom said $28,845. He was higher than me and he disobeyed orders and didn't put the predictions down to the cent. So we're just going to go with zero.
Yes, I did. I said put 42.
Okay. Sure you did.
That's what I sent you a picture with the cents.
Maybe I just didn't write it down. Maybe that's on me. Who knows? Yeah. So both of our lows have been filled. Mine is lower, so that means I'm leading. Piper's $28,499.25 has not been filled yet, so he's not even entered to win yet on the shorts. Whereas as far as the long goes, my long filled at $29,214.52. Piper's filled at $29,432. So Piper's now leading the high. T Shrooms has not yet been activated at $29,698, and then I didn't write down whatever your cent was. So he has not been activated for the high, but it could be that T Shroom wins the high, and it looks like at the moment while I'm leading the long, we'll see. I think as this direction of the rest of the week goes, there's a chance we don't set a new low, in which case I'll win the low. And T Shroom, you might end up winning the high, especially with the way Bitcoin is moving this morning. In fact, literally as we're speaking, 29,650 we're getting close to filling T-Shroom's high. We'll keep you guys posted on that as we keep going. It's time, though, to go ahead and read some names here in chat. So make sure, say something in chat. Hopefully I get to your name. Speaking of, make sure you guys vote in the poll. We have 48 of you have voted, even though there's 57 of you watching. So more people need to vote. Which do you think is going to be positive or negative? We're going to talk about that on the back half of the show. Also, make sure go hit that pinned tweet. Go retweet that. Help spread the word. Get more people in here. Smash and like button. Subscribe to the channel so we can continue to grow. We are, again, if we don't get to 4,000 by the end of the week, something is wrong. We got to get to 4,000 here very, very soon. But our top commenters of the day, despite the fact they're covered, I have a great memory this morning. Mr. Amello Fellow was the first commenter of the day, followed by Ada Ace right behind him. And in third place, wrapping it up with the blue wrench, it's Mr. Army Piper saying good day. Good. Piper gave us some good alpha this morning as well. This is something we're talking about with the PayPal. Make sure you stick around for the PayPal conversation. We're going to give credit where credit is due. Piper still, despite the fact that he's taking some time off for family, he's still in the grind mode when it comes to crypto research. Other people here this morning, Mr. J is here. Eric Wallen is here. It's a me, a Crypto Mario is here. Crypto Ben Franklin, everyone's favorite non-president, is here as well. Mike Play is here. Gia S is here. Speaking of Gia S, guys, that's another reason we need to get to 4,000 is because Gia gets a blue wrench when 4,000 subscribers are hit. So help her out as well. Indie Rock Crypto is here. Justin Eubanks, Remington Peralt, Curtis Rorick. Let's see who else. T-Shroom with the blue wrench is in chat and on camera. You'll love to see it. Peter Provost is here. Cryptex with the blue wrench is here. Ninja Glock, Shannon Sharp. I haven't gotten to read Shannon Sharp's name in a little while, but she definitely has a blue wrench. So glad to see you here, Shannon. Brakoshi No Dinero is here saying, good morning, Tim and T Shroom. Good morning, bros. Absolutely. Philly Skills 1428 is here as well. Let's get 5 more names, T Shroom, and then we're going to jump into some content here.
Let's do it.
The number one, Lexicaliber is here. Did I already read Ninja Glock, T Shroom? Did I already read that name?
I think you might have.
I'm not going to count it. But Ninja Glock, welcome. Jason Owen is number 2. Let's see here. We got 3 more coming in. Dustin Singer is number 3. Crypto Trades is number 4. And the final name we're reading this morning, Crypto Military Vet. Thank you and shout out to everybody who is in chat. If I did not read your name, and I know there are a couple of you, it is not because I don't love you. It is just because it's time to go ahead and get into our great content for the day. But on our way, make sure if you have not already, smash that like button and let's get into this economic outlook this morning. Go ahead and share my screen here, T Shroom. Of course, we talked about this. Today's not necessarily a huge day other than we get some more speeches from Fed chairmans. Today is Harker and Barkin coming in today. Again, it doesn't seem like yesterday was a massive big deal, although we are moving positively this morning. We had a little bit of volatility. We're going to see here in a second when we get to liquidations. A lot of things were liquidated. Let's see. Army Piper says, Tim, for the record, I said along at your 28.8 low mark. Okay, so you go low, but you believe me. I see how it is, Piper. I see how it is. It did go a little lower. It got really close. I mean, if we were doing closest, I think it got close to that 28.5 because we did drop all the way. Well, we're going to cover that on Bitcoin, but Piper, thank you for the vote of confidence here. Guys, tomorrow we're looking at the 30-year mortgage rate, going to be an important thing to look at 7 a.m. And then Thursday is the big day, core inflation and inflation rates month over month and year over year here in the United States. And then Friday, the Great British Pound is going to get their GDP month over month and year over year with their growth rate. So make sure you guys are staying tuned and watching what those numbers come out to be so we can watch prices go off of them. Taking a quick look at liquidations. I told you guys a lot of liquidations happening yesterday. In fact, 21 million liquidations. That's getting a higher peak, one of the higher ones we've had in the last couple of days, but it's pretty split. It's red at the moment, meaning more shorts have been liquidated than longs, but look at how even it is. 10 million longs were liquidated, 11.6 million shorts were liquidated. So it is red, but it was a pretty even split. A lot of volatility yesterday. There's still kind of a power struggle going on. We'll break that more down here in a second when we do some TA. Ethereum as a whole, though, overwhelmingly had more long liquidations than short, which is a little interesting because Ethereum is going to be one of the topics we discuss when we talk about PayPal. Could be one of the big winners from PayPal, but we'll break that down here towards the end of the show. Stay with us. Let's go ahead and move over to our Trueflation this morning, coming in at 2.32, slight tick up from yesterday's 2.31. So inflation moving in the wrong direction very quickly, guys. The only thing important here, we're looking at our pause for the first time in September, and it's still looking like March is going to be the first month we are predicting our rate cut to happen. We fall back down to 5 to 525. Bitcoin Fear and Greed Index ticking up this morning, though, to 54, everybody. This is significant because Bitcoin's price at the time that these get posted was really not that severely up from the day before. So for the fact that Bitcoin rallied to 54 again, this could be a negative sign, guys, that despite the fact that we're rallying this morning, more than likely expect the volatility to continue. We're in a sideways boring range once again on Bitcoin. It seems like I'm a broken record because it seems like we're nothing. Like we'll have sideways range and we'll dip a little, then sideways range, then we'll dip a little, then sideways range. Well, we're doing it once again. I'll talk more about that when we do some Bitcoin TA. But let's take a look at the crypto markets this morning and break down what is happening here inside the top 10. It does look like Bitcoin might be the biggest mover within the last 24 hours, up 1.9%. Next closest to it is XRP, up 1.56% on the last 24 hours. But this is a good sign for Bitcoin volatility for my prediction, because when you're seeing Bitcoin move heavier than the others, that's a big move in the right direction to the upside for dominance. But as a whole, pretty much everything is up in the green. Don't pay attention to USDC coin sitting red at 0, but that's what it's supposed to do because that is a stable coin. Oh, I guess, okay, it just ticked in. Solana looks like it had a little bit better last 24 hours, up 2% in the last 24 hours. Maybe we'll take a look at some Solana today during TA. It has been one of the more volatile coins recently, meaning traders who are able to read it correctly could be having a field day with Solana. But when we move into the top 20, is there anything massive? Not necessarily. Wrap Bitcoin up 1.68. Toncoin up 2%, and the biggest one of them all, number 20, Chainlink, up 3.3%. We will take a look at that. Let's look at the biggest gainers as a whole. Algorand, look at that number, 46, up 6.2. HBAR up 6%. Bitcoin Cash rounds out number 3rd on the biggest movers of the day. So there we go. Not necessarily anything crazy big moves, but 6%. That's no small thing. Biggest losers, GMX down 5.65%. Rocket Pool, Render, Curve, all kind of rounding out. We're starting to, there's not as many coins down this morning as there are up. And you're going to see even this top groupings, it starts to get to only 1% down here very quickly. So overall, I would say a more bullish last 24 hours than bearish one. Let's go ahead, though, and jump into our charts, guys. A lot to break down today. What am I looking at? The 4-hour chart? Why am I looking at the 4-hour chart? We're going to break down what's happening here, guys. Remember, we always use the chart prime indicators, the best indicators in the game. You definitely want to go check them out. If you don't have them already, they're going to change your trading game absolutely 100% in the positive direction. With our link, you get 45% off. Go check them out. And also thank you to Chart Prime for sponsoring Investing Bros and keeping the lights on over here. We're looking even right now, guys, 4-hour chart. Something did just flash off at us. Now, I don't think that necessarily says it has to end. We don't have to stop here, but we are getting oversold here. Overbought here on the 4-hour chart. So definitely something to be keeping your eyes on. Once again, as we're kind of getting into another area of coming back into resistance, of course, guys, this is the support level we were just in for 6 weeks between the end of June and then here at the end of July, middle of June to the end of July. And it, once again, as we're approaching those levels, we're getting that high Bitcoin Fear and Greed Index. We're getting the overbought flashes coming on in the indicators. You'll also see when looking at the trend fusion, we could go higher with the trend fusion, absolutely, but we're starting to get a little overextended out of the money flow. The money flow is starting to round over. RSI is getting overextended over 70. So again, does that mean we're done moving to the upside? We absolutely could keep pressing up just a little bit more here, but I do believe reversal is coming here very soon on the shorter time frames. Let's look at the hourly chart. We're getting a little bit clearer of a picture, getting overbought flashes on the hourly chart here as well as we're touching right here. We wicked out. What is the exact wick? It came to 29,659. Man, just about $40 short of T Shroom's peak for the week. Are we going to keep pushing, or are we going to reverse? We'll have to continue to keep our eyes on that for Bitcoin. Getting in here on hourly, the money flow is starting to move sideways after peaking out. So again, we're starting to see on these shorter time frames the momentum kind of slowing down. Let's take a look, though, what the indicators are saying. Again, we're hitting resistance here on that level. Not only that, but multi-time frame support and resistance. Let's take a look. I'm on the hourly chart, so let's move up here to the 4-hour chart and take a look here. We did break through. That's surprising. We did break through the dynamic reactor, but are we going to see something similar play out to what happened here back on August 1st, where right now we have this 4-hour candle well above the dynamic reactor, but are we going to end up falling back down as we see these reversal signs and simply have a wick, but once again not be able to close a candle above the dynamic reactor? It has been all the way since July 16th since a candle on the 4-hour chart has closed above dynamic reactor. So could be bullish if we end up closing this high. But it got a lot more time left before we get that official answer here. I'm not loving all the volume here. Like we talked about before, guys, liquidation's kind of going back and forth, really even right now. Do not be surprised if we start to see within this next, let's see, even when I go back here, 1 hour right now. So the last hour, a lot of short liquidations, right? Way more short liquidations, 6.29 million compared to 89,000 longs on the hourly chart. Are we going to see this next hour flip? Is this box going to turn green? Are we going to start seeing traders flip the script now that we're hitting resistance and there's no real bullish catalyst kind of pushing us up? Could we see Bitcoin start to flip back over? Could be interesting. Let's take a look at some other things here. Let's just look at the fixed range volume profile over. Let's go all the way to kind of where we hit some highs. You know what? I'm going to go all the way back. I'm going to go back to where we kind of started the boring sideways trend, but I got to zoom out here for just a second. Let's kind of look at what the volume's looking like in here. You're going to see a point of control. If we get any type of real bullish momentum here, you could see a price shoot up to 30,200. Could be interesting, but you'll also notice, guys, right there, value area low coming in, being used as resistance as we speak. Another reason to kind of think that we're moving sideways. Remember, we also talked about this here a couple of weeks ago when I predicted that we were going to have a red August. I also said it's not going to be a very fast fall. I thought it was going to be a very slow sideways and to the downside fall here into the end of August, hitting this blue line once again, somewhere in the range about 28,000, maybe, but in this T box, 28,000 to 28.6, we touch this blue line and then we make our way potentially back up. It's really a decision point. Are we going to continue the upside? Are we going to break this blue level and head down? It still at the moment is kind of sitting in a space that's like, hey, it's anyone's guess. Again, when you go out to the monthly chart, I'm willing to kind of watch what happens, see what news breaks around the end of August. But when you turn off these indicators and you look at this historically, red Julys are not good for August. And more often than not, they're not good for September as well. And I do believe a red August, we could still bounce off this blue line. Red September, we're breaking below, more than likely heading at least down to 27,000, if not back down to 25,000 over the next couple of months. But we'll keep you guys posted on that. Let's check out some other coins today. We're going to look at Ethereum. We always, when Piper's on the show, we always cover Ethereum, but we don't cover it every single day. But I want to take a look at what's happening with it, because Ethereum, guys, could be one of the ones with the biggest benefits from this PayPal news, because PayPal is building the stablecoin on the Ethereum blockchain. So like it, love it, hate it, whatever it is you think about PayPal, you do have to admit anything being built with Ethereum adoption is going to be long haul good for Ethereum. Just one more reason why Ethereum is king of the altcoins. Let's take a look here. We're on the daily chart. We're getting kind of low here and rounding off on our oscillators. You guys can see money flow, while it's super, super low, starting to kind of keel over and round over on the daily chart. We're also seeing that trend fusion start to round and come to the upside. We got overextended on the RSI, starting to see some bullish movement up here on Ethereum's daily chart. So this could be a positive sign for sure. Let's take a look at what our indicators are saying. We didn't even come down all the way to support. We talked about there's some really strong support down here at 1726. So if this isn't the end, because you're going to notice on these oscillators as well, it's not necessarily massively overextended. We didn't get a red reversal. We didn't get an oversold signal on the daily chart. There's a chance what we're doing is just curving before another dip. Definitely keep your eyes on the 1721 region. That could be very, very interesting for support. But I bet you if we come down to the 4-hour chart, yeah, we're seeing some really bullish momentum push here over the last 24 hours or so. Since when? Since the PayPal news. We're starting to make a push to the upside. So don't be surprised to see more volatility coming in with Ethereum moving to the upside. But also we still on the longer time frames, more than likely still could go a little bit lower. Let's take a look at what this is saying. Watch as we're starting to push. Watch the dynamic reactor here. Again, Ethereum has not been above that dynamic reactor since back on July 20th. We still have a little ways to push up to the upside at 1863 before we run into that dynamic reactor again. So definitely I'm going to be keeping my eyes on that. Let's take a look at some volume and maybe even some Fibonacci here for Ethereum when we're looking at some levels. So first of all, let's go back here. Let's go to the peak. Let's go back to the, is that the high for the year? No, it's not. Yeah, we went. No, it is the high for the year. Okay, yeah, because we're on the daily chart. Yeah, there we go. All right, some things we're looking at here. We're squarely back into our value area low as support. Watch potentially up there towards 1871, a little higher than that dynamic reactor, but maybe a wick bounces up towards that 1870, which is the point of control. If the bulls start to come back in and gain control, watch out for 1918 as that is the value area high. Could be very interesting. Let's get rid of our volume. Let's take a look at some Fibonacci levels and see if there's any type of confluence sitting here as to why we bounced down to these levels. We did, even though we wicked lower, we kind of found a lot of support here on the daily chart right there at the 0.5 and 1875, a little higher than what we were just talking about, those other levels. But could we make a push back up to 0.382? Possibly. Keep your eyes on those levels as well. Let's even go from a smaller time frame. Just taking a look at this most recent dip down. We're going to go down from that high down to the low here. And let's take a look what Ethereum is doing this morning. All right, just above us, 1855, kind of sitting in that range. And I could really probably just draw a T box here. I probably could just go ahead and say, guys, more than likely, we're going to see Ethereum get back into this range. You just heard me talk about 1850, 1870, a lot of different things kind of indicating that zone could be an interesting spot for a reversal after Ethereum gets some pump here. So definitely keep your eyes on that. Interesting trade opportunity potentially. By the way, speaking of trades, tonight is at 6 p.m. our Tuesday tactical trades with me and T Shroom. You don't want to miss it. Maybe we'll talk about a little Ethereum trades. Let's see if maybe even today, throughout the rest of the day, we end up hitting these levels. That could be very interesting. Let's keep moving on, though. Let's take a look at Solana this morning because, again, Solana was one of the top movers. Solana is breaking out. It has broken out here over the last couple of days above this resistance level, this falling resistance level. And I've talked about this before. If we were to break, now that we have a retest of this former resistance level turn to support, you can start to kind of talk about, could Solana make a push up to $26.97? Well, $26. I guess I put $25.97. I guess where it's like kind of saying there. $26 could be very interesting. Let's take a look at some other indicators here. What's Solana looking like here on the 4-hour chart? Definitely not overextended. Money flow flowing to the upside. We're not overextended on the RSI. Oh, could look like Solana is once again going to have some bullish momentum here, guys. Again, love Solana, hate Solana, whatever your thoughts are about Solana. The charts don't care. The charts have no emotions. They're just going to do what they want to do and talk about what they want to talk about. There's a real chance Solana community really strong right now. It's on Twitter, a lot of people very, very bullish on Solana. So does the community have the momentum to go? Possibly. Let's take a look at some other things going on. I mean, I don't know why I deleted that. Let's take this. Let's open this back up. And let's move this back over to our prediction breakout. You're going to see kind of getting that same area around $26. We're going to have the strongest daily level of resistance at 26.33. So kind of getting some confluence there that could be a really positive level. That's a level to watch potentially for if you're trading Solana, maybe you take profit around $26, go a little lower than that line, but we could make a push back up to those levels before a real reversal comes in. Let's take a look at our other indicators. I would be predicting this would mean we'd break above the dynamic reactor. And hey, listen, we talked about on the other coins, if Bitcoin makes that push up towards 30,200 and Ethereum starts making a push up towards 1870, maybe even gets a push up towards that 19 we talked about, 1900, maybe we see all of this come through, and maybe Solana is giving us insight to something that the rest of the market isn't, that we could actually make a good push up here on all the coins, because I do expect them to trade similarly. They don't have to trade identically, but I do expect the crypto market as a whole, barring some special news comes out solely about Solana, I do expect the entire crypto market to move kind of in unison. Just some coins will move with heavier moves than others. So that's what we're seeing today on those charts. Let's see, even last thing I'm going to look at here, turning off our chart prime indicators. Let's look at some Fibonacci levels here more recently. When we start, let's go really aggressive, go all the way to that peak right there. Coming in, yeah, we're not really seeing, well, the 26, yeah, there we go, 26, coming back to the 0.382. So we get some further confluence kind of saying that's a significant level. Even moving down to this most recent peak here, what is 26? 26 is going to come in right, well, I guess 26 is back up here towards the towards that peak. That's not really going to help you out right there, guys. We're going to go ahead and continue to look at that Fibonacci from the high that Solana had back here in July. And yeah, again, a lot of confluence kind of talking about $26 on Solana could be an interesting spot for a rally. But then again, then the question is, did the bulls continue the momentum, or is that a peak that then sends Solana even lower? We'll have to address that more in future videos. But guys, that is the crypto TA for today. If you guys love that, go ahead and smash that like button. And if you're new here, subscribe to the channel for more content just like that. Let's go ahead and go to BroCam here, T-Shroom. And I get to take a breath for just a second as we enter our community portion. T-Shroom, what are some announcements that people need to know about coming up here very, very soon?
Well, the biggest one, I think, is that our boy Mem, Magic Internet Money, is going to be on the show tomorrow with us. He's going to be bringing the heat. He's going to be doing it big. He's going to be exposing some levels that maybe have flown under our radar, and maybe he'll even get into some altcoins that we don't usually cover. We should get with him today and see maybe what folks in the Discord may want Mem to cover as far as altcoins. And then the following week, we've also got some more good guests coming up, and but the BitGet promotion is now over. So if you didn't get your BitGet account through the Investing Bros promo code, you missed your chance. But there'll be more promos in the future. Don't worry, guys. Don't worry. There's definitely going to be more promos. BitGet is a really good exchange, to be honest with you. Caleb Franzen is going to be joining us on the 16th, so you can be looking forward to that. We're going to be getting a little bit more of a deeper download in terms of what we can expect from the Federal Reserve going into the rest of the year, and maybe some unique insights on the way that equities are going to be performing into the rest of the year as well. So he'll be joining us on the 16th. But yeah, I mean, the biggest one too is tactical trades today, guys, 6 p.m. Definitely be tuning in for that, and we're gonna have a lot of fun.
Very interesting. We got a super chat from Piper talking about an upgrade here on Chart Prime. So I definitely got to go in here and get this new set up here. Let's see. Do I get the volume? Nope. See, I don't know why. It's still saying, even though I killed it, it's still saying 3.1. So I'm going to try to keep updating this, Piper, because he says I'm breaking his heart. You know what? Despite the fact that there's a new upgrade, you still are going to see the old ones still give us some good signals here. So I'm going to have to address that here in just a second, T-Shroom. But I will update and get everyone updated for future TA. Some other updates. I talked about tactical trades. You guys make sure you come in tonight for tactical trades at 6 p.m. Also, silver members, we will have our bro time here at 3 p.m. So make sure you guys are here. Will be great conversation with me and T-Shroom. But I do think for now, T-Shroom, that's all of our community notes. It's time to jump in again. We have a new flow to the show here, guys, where instead of always doing stocks and then jumping into headlines and talking about all the biggest headlines, the second half hour of the show is going to be through 3 different segments that we're going to be able to engage and conversate not only between me and T-Shroom, but with you guys as well. Today, what you should be expecting. First, we're going to break down in the next 10 minutes. We're going to talk more about this PayPal news that broke yesterday. So stay tuned for that. Go ahead and engage in chat with us. I know someone just commented. They said when Tim's doing TA, he's locked in. You're not going to see anything. That's right. Guys, listen, I'm just staring at my TA. You can comment all day long, and I'll get back to it. But during this segment, I am for sure going to be watching chat. We want to engage with you guys. In the second segment, we're going to be talking more about Bitcoin ETFs and some news coming up with those. So make sure you stay tuned. And the third one is literally, we're going to go ahead and dedicate today. We're just going to talk with you guys, engage with chat, answer any and all questions you guys have about T-Shroom, about myself. I have a funny video to show you guys of T-Shroom. T-Shroom doesn't even know about it. So make sure you stay tuned throughout the rest of this half hour. But T-Shroom, go ahead and start us off, kind of lay the groundwork. What do we need to know about PayPal yesterday, just in case people have not been on Twitter, have not been watching YouTube videos? It broke while we were live on our show yesterday, but what are some of the information about PayPal we need to know about?
Well, it's good that you asked that, Tim, because I think we do need to give a little bit of a debrief here. But PayPal, PYUSD, is the ticker they're going with there. For that, the stablecoin could breed competition and force regulators to act. And there's some keys here that they partnered with Paxos to do this, with Paxos Trust as the issuer of PYUSD token. And the move represented another incumbent force in traditional finance moving forward with plans to use crypto technology at scale. And that really, to me, is kind of the big headline in how markets are going to react. And PayPal has 431 million users across the world, right? This is not just going to be an American phenomenon. So that's important to remember as well. There's that. There's kind of the overwhelming positive nature of this and how big and scalable it could all be. PayPal is kind of seen as kind of one of the leading innovators, but it's still in the TradFi camp, very squarely. But there's also there's some concerns. Okay, well, what about the market share of the other stablecoins? Well, PayPal stablecoin launch doesn't impact Tether, says Paolo Adriano, and this is what he had to say. He said that's because PayPal stablecoin has been launched in the U.S. where Tether does not serve, which may be news to some of you who have a lot of Tether and also live in the U.S. And so I think he's kind of maybe saving face here a little bit, maybe dropping back and punting a little bit. Paolo, I feel that this will take market share. If it's rolled out and successful, this will take market share from Tether. There's no doubt about it. So, I mean, I could be wrong, but I don't see a way that it doesn't take market share from some of the stable coins. That's just the reality of competition. So it's all, mostly positive, a little bit of skepticism there about, how its effect on the existing stablecoin market. But then you do have this question here, and this was brought to us by Army Piper this morning, which is a bit of code presumably from the PayPal system that's being rolled out here, the back end of PYUSD. And you'll notice some key phrases here: freeze in address balance, unfreeze address balance, wipe the balance of a frozen address, burn the tokens. So there's the first question of, is this code even real? I mean, Piper brought it to us. It's probably from a reliable source, but it's like, where did that source get it from? So you have the question of that, but also, should this be allowed to be? Should there be certain coins that certain stable coins that should be frozen, kind of like the TradFi system has Swift, can freeze your bank account, right? If you're deemed to be a terrorist, which moving into the crypto world that we're stepping into, that's definitely not seen as acceptable. So that's kind of the landscape. There's definitely been some skepticism. Folks are asking a lot of different questions about this new rollout. But overall, Tim, I'd have to say that this could be very, very big. It kind of hit me last night as I was falling asleep, kind of had a time to just meditate and kind of think about this. I think that this could be very big simply because it's not a crypto company coming out, right, and rolling out a new service or product and trying to clamor for attention and trying to make it relevant. This is an already well-established TradFi company that is seen by other banks around the world as an innovator, right? It's come in and brought a lot of banking services to retail, PayPal, and it is the one introducing a crypto product. So as long as it's successful, right, it's going to be great. But I think just the optics alone are great. There's some ways that this could go south. Definitely, it's definitely not coming without the negative notes, some possibility of pessimistic and highly skeptical notes. But I think overall it's a positive thing for crypto, and it's going to expand retail adoption for sure. So Tim, what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, so I'm going to start off by saying net positive, guys. It is a net positive, and let me break down why it is a net positive. I'm going to even I told you guys, we're engaged with chat here. Literally, Dustin Singer just said every single person I know uses PayPal. I'm going to start by saying not every person. I know some people who don't use PayPal.
A lot of
But
people.
you're right. Most people who do things online, they purchase things online. They go about, they get paid via things online. Every influencer I know, when they have affiliates or they have sponsors, more often than not, that payment, I've seen some ERC20 payments, which is cool, but most often people get paid by companies via PayPal. Net positive because, guys, Ben talked about this yesterday. The last time we got massive PayPal adoption was back in October of 2020. That's kicked off the real momentum of the last bull market. Now, I don't believe that this is going to be the same thing. Again, I still am holding to the 4-year cycle. I still believe that the real momentum of a bull market is going to come probably later next summer, guys. However, PayPal, just what Dustin Singer is saying, because it is such a heavily used payment system, and because they are embracing cryptocurrency, this will bring more eyes into crypto. In fact, the reason I'm saying net positive, and some people might not like this, but I think actually when you think about it, even CBDCs are going to be a net positive. And hold off on before you guys roast me in the chat. Let me explain myself. CBDC is going to be positive. This is going to be positive because it's going to bring more people into digital currency. What is king of digital currency? Bitcoin. What are they using? PayPal? They're using Ethereum. As a whole, just for those two coins alone, I think there's going to be a lot of adoption, a lot more eyes, a lot more comfortability in people utilizing some bigger cryptos. Now we'll get into the negatives. And I'm saying net positive because more good will be done than negative, but negative stuff will happen, just like in CBDCs. Again, CBDCs will bring eyeballs into the digital currency space, but it'll also come with some shackles on your wrist if you are heavily using CBDCs. And while technically speaking, PayPal is not creating a CBDC because they are not a centralized bank, I'm going to go ahead and call this still a CBDC. Just instead of being a central bank digital currency, this is a centralized business digital currency. And that's what even Piper's kind of bringing to our attention with this code, T-Shroom, is that this is the proof of the pudding that they absolutely will have control over censoring or freezing your accounts. That was some big news that happened here about a year ago, that PayPal had announced that they would have the ability to freeze money. They would take advantage of it. They were going to work with U.S. governments. And the whole concept there was they were going after what they deemed to be immoral figures, illegal figures, criminals. And there's a side that you have to appreciate and understand. Some people think that that's a good thing. Some people agree wholeheartedly with the concept of saying, hey, if someone is a criminal or if someone's doing something immoral, we should try to penalize them anytime we can. The problem is when you start to do it with currency, when you start to do it with money, you break that money system, like what we saw happen with the US dollar. The US dollar was already crumbling, but when we decided to break and freeze all money and sanction Russia. By the way, Russia, one of the largest countries in the world, what you do is you start to push countries like Russia and allies of Russia, BRICS nations, away from the US dollar, and it kills the currency. When you have a truly decentralized system, you have to understand that bad will come with the good. It's about embracing all of it and saying, you know what? I would rather have, people be free and a couple of bad actors have their way than to cripple and shackle every single person. But unfortunately, that's what PayPal is going to do. That's what centralized bank digital currencies are going to do. They're going to say, you know what? For the sake of getting rid of criminals, we're going to shackle everybody and we're going to regulate everybody. And then that becomes dangerous because there might be times where it's utilized in a good way, T-Shroom. There might be times where drug lords are shut down, where human trafficking is shut down, and that is amazing. But there's also going to be times where humans who are not immoral, but yet just go against the grain of whoever is in power, they will get shut down. They will be censored just for having different belief systems. And that is the danger of centralization being involved in currency. Now, we've dealt with it our whole lives up to like 11 or say up to 14 years ago, before Bitcoin was even created. All we knew was centralized currency. Most of us who are alive, I guess there might be some people in chat who remember when when money was still backed by gold and they really operated like it was. But all we know is centralized money. The difference at this point is we see the future. We have a solution to solve our monetary problems. And yet things like PayPal and things like CBDCs are going to utilize this amazing technology to continue to keep finances centralized, and that control will continue. So that was a very, very long answer. And I hope you guys stayed with me. Net positive, Bitcoin price will go up. Ethereum price will go up. I think a lot of crypto prices will go up. But the negative side of it is at what cost? What decentralization are we sacrificing by having mass adoptions of things like PayPal? And it's an unstoppable force. We can't force people not to take PayPal. They're just going to do it. We just need to be aware, hey, guys, that there are some negatives that happen with this kind of adoption.
Yeah, and there was this article, I think you hinted at it, and I'm seeing some comments in the chat kind of reminiscing, but PayPal says policy to fine customers for misinformation.
Yeah, that's what I was referencing. Yeah.
And it was from October 10th, 2022. I remember very vividly when that came out. It was a lot of hate towards PayPal, especially from the more conservative persuasion type folks. So that's definitely a serious concern, right? And I doubt that PayPal has really taken the steps to try to remove that type of ideology from their ranks. As I would imagine that has probably stayed about the same. So what I would say though is that this is not only big for retail adoption and everything you said, Tim, as well, but it's kind of like, if I could use the metaphor of a bunch of kids playing on the playground, right? South Park does this so well. Analyzing movements in our society through the lens of kids on a playground. So it's almost like all of the kids, right, that have been, coming out with the crypto technology or kind of running on the playground when the teacher said not to run, right? They've been put in timeout, right? And so the crypto, a lot of crypto companies, a lot of retail have been persuaded, right, by the mainstream media to not go and get involved in all this crypto stuff. So for intents and purposes, Coinbase and Binance and these kids on the playground have been put in timeout. Well, now PayPal that's been having a good old time out on the playground. Now it's going to start breaking the rules and start running in the playground. And the big question is, does the teacher go ahead and punish PayPal? Because if the SEC comes down on PayPal and issues a lawsuit, oh, this is a security and you didn't register it. Well, maybe they registered it. I don't know. I haven't looked into that. Or maybe because this is going to be trade. You make Bitcoin tradable on your platform, or you make Ethereum tradable on PayPal, right? That's a security, and you're participating in whatever they want to accuse you of, right? So that's kind of the metaphor I like to go with here, and why this is such a big deal, because this could free all the kids to come back out of timeout and say, hey, PayPal was allowed to run on the playground, now we can too, right? And that's when I think you do see a watershed moment, a shift, right? And that's just one of the shifts. I think also when BlackRock comes out with an ETF, spot ETF, basically telling the SEC, basically telling the establishment finance world, hey, crypto is a green light. Let's get it. I think it's going to change it all up.
Speaking of BlackRock ETFs, T-Shroom, good segue into our next discussion, next topic. We have some ETF news coming out this Friday. In a nutshell, T-Shroom, I know you're going to pull up the article here, but guys, Friday is the day that officially we should be hearing more information about this ARC application. We're not going to read the article. I do want you guys to know, if you guys want to read it, you can go to CNBC. We can even put this link in our Discord, and you guys can read the whole thing. Just so you guys know, we could hear an answer about a Bitcoin ETF. We also could see them punt it all the way till January. T-Shroom, before I give my answer, what are your thoughts about this? What probability do you give that we actually get a yes or a no this Friday about ARK Invest? And what is the probability that we do see that punt to a later date?
I think if you look at the track record of the SEC, they love to punt. Right, they love to just drag it out, and I think they have every incentive to do that. There's people's jobs on the line. If they make a decision and it's seen as bad, then they're gone, right? So there's just every incentive to just drag it out, and that's the case for a lot of government.
Yeah, I think I would probably put the number. I mean, give your number here in a second, teacher. But I'm going to go ahead and say I believe there's a 75% chance, 3/4 we're going to see a punt here. I just don't think that you're going to see Gary Gensler give up and bow down to this. Also, I mean, I think if there was one he was going to bow down and just say, you know what, whatever, let's do it, it would be BlackRock. But this isn't BlackRock. This is Cathie Wood, and this is ARK Invest. I think he will use, and just like we've seen him do in the past, he will use any legal means he has possible. And this is something I don't believe he has to have a strong reason. He could probably literally come out and say, we haven't had enough time to actually review this and the consequences and yada, yada, yada. We're going to go ahead and use our legal means and punt this until January. Meanwhile, they're just buying time to get a rational reason as to why they can approve BlackRock first. Even though BlackRock had some negative news here, guys, I still believe there's just smoke and mirrors. There's so much crap going on in this country right now that everything I believe happening politically right now is smoke and mirrors to try to distract people from the big things happening. Even the BlackRock FUD is just like, who actually believe BlackRock's going to have anything significant happen to them? They pretty much own most governments around the world. BlackRock is going to get an ETF. It's going to be, if not the first, one of the first, and it's going to allow them to take a lot of control and a lot of power of Bitcoin. Again, it's one of those things. You got to sit here and take your double-edged sword. On one hand, BlackRock ETFs are going to bring in a higher price for Bitcoin, and that's going to make a lot of people happy. Higher prices for Bitcoin will also lead towards, even if it's only a trickle effect, it will lead to higher prices for altcoins. People will take profits from Bitcoin and put them into altcoins. So it's a net positive for crypto as a whole. But the problem is this beautiful currency that is Bitcoin being in the hands of, again, BlackRock's not a centralized bank. It's a centralized business. And to me, those are just as bad, if not worse, when you really break down what they're trying to do with this world. But T-Shroom, I gave a little bit longer answer there. What's your number? I said 75%. What is your number you're predicting of a punt or a play here on Friday?
Yeah, I'd say I'd do you one better. I'd say 80% punt. I think also it looks like Cathie Woods came out this morning as well. I saw in the chat, and she said that they're going to punt. So,
did she really? I didn't see that. Wait,
yeah.
Could someone drop a link? Who said that in chat?
JT Skinner said Cathie said this morning they expect the SEC to push back the date, which again they have every incentive to. There's a couple more stories kind of wanted to just go over here, just really quickly. Let's see. So the U.S. credit card debt surpasses $1 trillion, a new all-time high. So that's one thing to consider. And then WorldCoin didn't get off to a good start. Where is it now? Well, it's not doing any better. The Kenyan government has ordered cryptocurrency project WorldCoin to stop signing up new users, citing data from privacy concerns. So, it's just such a strange. I had a thought the other day. I feel like what WorldCoin is Sam Altman has had just a ton of success with OpenAI, right? So I feel like maybe what has happened, and is that he's had a bunch of yes men around him, and I feel like it's not like, in theory, this concept is not the craziest thing because he's trying to solve a real problem, which is identifying humans versus AIs online, right? So it's a good problem to solve. It's just the way he's going about solving it. I feel like he pitched this to his buddies, and they were all like, "Oh, it's a great idea," even though maybe they didn't think it was. And so he went through with it, and now everybody hates it, and his name is kind of getting dragged through the mud. Now, I say that from an American perspective. Perhaps there's a lot of people around the world who see WorldCoin, and they really appreciate that $52 free that they're going to get, or whatever it is. And they're going to use WorldCoin, and this will be the way that they become banked. And maybe it'll be okay. But I think more likely than not, the optics of what WorldCoin has been is it's a clear example of the dark side of what crypto can be. So, that's kind of a take. And it kind of coincides well with the PayPal release as well, because it's a TradFi. I mean, OpenAI is owned by Microsoft. So in a sense, this is a TradFi associated coin. So I don't want to read too much into that, but that's kind of the thought there.
Yeah, listen, I'm very glad Nigeria is doing this. You said there's Nigerian who?
I think I saw something about Nigeria, but Kenya is also. That's what this BBC headline was about. Kenya, but I think Nigeria also is in the same situation.
Yeah, I mean, and again, this is also, we're talking about Nigeria, one of the countries that kind of experimented with. I don't know if they abandoned it. They definitely experimented with CBDCs, the very crypto it's a country that's very much exploring crypto as a very real solution. And we said this before, guys. CBDCs, the problem with CBDCs is the potential of them. In a perfect world, if a government was not corrupt and a government really wanted what was best for its people and wanted to bring real stability and did not want to hurt people, a CBDC could be used with peace and no evil transactions happen. It could be. The problem is just anytime you leave the authority under one centralized system like a government or a bank or a business or anything, the potential for corruption, for control, for manipulation seep in. So, I like seeing that we have these countries like Nigeria and Kenya pushing back on things like WorldCoin, which shows that they do believe that's a corrupt thing. Maybe they're just worried that they don't want WorldCoin to have control of their people because they want to have control of their people. You have to kind of leave that one open as well. But I'm very glad to see certain governments pushing back on WorldCoin as a whole. Again, I do believe, guys, I think that when we talk about things like CBDCs, WorldCoin, when we talk about what PayPal's doing, we can sit here till we're blue in the face crying about it and saying how bad it is, how we don't want it to happen. But I do believe all of them are inevitable. So it's about how we navigate around them, the fact that we don't like them. WorldCoin, for example, that's one I'm going to put my foot in the sand on that one. I mean, everyone else do whatever you want, but I'm just not going to be putting my eyeball up to that laser out of sure will. I don't know what's going to happen to me because of it. I just am not going to do things like that. I mean, I guess we found out you can say this kind of stuff now and not get banned on social. I'm very much, I refuse to take vaccines. I didn't believe in the science. I don't believe in what the government was trying to do. And it's one of the things, I'm just a stubborn person. It's why I am who I am. Those who know me well know that very much about me. I feel like I am a nice guy. I feel like I'm easy to be friends with. But you're also not going to force me to do anything. T-Shirm, do you remember the day back on Coffee and Crypto that Smay tried to force me to sing on the live stream?
Yeah.
And it was the most awkward thing because most people would just go ahead and say, you know what, this is getting awkward. Let me go ahead and sing. Now I was like, no, I'm not. Like, literally, I would sing if it wasn't for Smay. But the fact that Smay was trying to peer pressure me into it, I'm like, I refuse to do that. That's just how I am as a person. That's how I'm going to be with vaccines. That's how I'm going to be with this WorldCoin laser. That's just who I am as a person. You guys do whatever you think. But I do understand, hey, I know that majority of people around us, more than likely at some point, if it's not WorldCoin's actual laser thing, it's going to be something else. They're going to try to get us to inject chips into our hands. They're going to try to get us to scan our eyeballs. They're going to get us to try to put things in our forehead. Like, that stuff is happening. So you just got to be ready for it and know what your response is going to be when the time comes. So anyway, speaking of, we're going to transition here, guys, into some Q&A with you guys. And someone said, Tim's still not good at looking at chat. I'm doing the best I can. It's hard to speak and think through everything and engage with chat, but I do, as I'm waiting for your questions. Let's see. Matt C says, Tim, you stubborn. No, yeah, Matt C, he knows. He's hung out with me. Are you Aries, says Indie Rock Crypto. Is that are you talking about, is my sign? I don't really believe in signs, but I think I am Aries. Is that
Tim?
I'm revealing a lot about myself today, guys. Yeah. Let's see. Shannon Sharp says, me too. Yeah, we're going to engage more. I wanted to show you guys.
Are you an Aries? We have not had that energy in the chat ever, I don't think.
No, I don't think we have. I found something out yesterday, guys, and those of you who are in the Discord, you guys know about this. But did you guys know that T-Shroom and Army Piper have been lying to us? That they've known each other for a very long time. And I found the video proof that they know each other. And there's no sound here. But this is from 10 years ago, everybody. This is 10 years ago. Young T-Shroom and young Piper. I don't know which one is Piper because Piper's not showing his face, but I know he's in there. And
FIFA Women's World Cup.
Oh my gosh.
On
How about
Fox.
that? How about team? Put in chat what your thoughts are about what happened. There we go. There's T-Shroom.
Oh, yeah.
Let's back it up. Look at that hair. Which one is Piper? Where are you in here? Oh, look at this. No wonder why Piper didn't want to say he knew who T-Shroom was after seeing that dance.
I remember those Nikes. Those were a good pair of shoes.
Oh my goodness. This is good stuff.
I
could watch this all day, every day, nonstop.
I don't even know if that's really me. I think you need to prove that. You can make anything with AI these days,
Oh my goodness gracious. I love it. Why don't we make videos like that now, T-Shroom?
I don't know, man. I think that the world that deserves better. I think that the world does not need any more of that going around. But I'm excited, guys. I think this is going to be a really good year for crypto. Prices may not reflect, what all the development and everything that's going on, right? But there's a
Yeah.
lot. There's a lot going, and there was already a lot going on. I remember it towards the end of 2022. Man, there was just so much development and stuff was set up for mass retail adoption. Like all the piping is there for you to go ahead and use crypto, Bitcoin,
Yeah.
and Ethereum solely at gas stations and grocery stores, which would be the huge end zone for all of this. It's all there. It's all ready. It's just we're really just waiting on the SEC and regulatory clarity from Congress. But hopefully we can get there before the Dubais and the Japans of the world get there first, and then all of the rich, wealthy crypto guys and gals move to those countries and abandon America. So that's kind of a nice little summary. I'm optimistic though, because all the infrastructure is there. We just need Congress to snap their fingers, give it the blessing, get the Pope over here to Benedict to do his benediction on crypto. Now I'm getting way off.
We're getting off there. Speaking of being way off, so here's going back to is Tim an Aries? An Aries, that's like depending on when the month you're born, right? Or like the months or period of time.
Yes.
I'm actually curious. Am I an Aries? I was born in March, end of March. Does that make me Aries?
Are you asking me? Do you seriously think I know the answer to that question?
I thought you were an expert in the field. That's why I'm asking.
I'll ask ChatGPT.
Okay, there you go. I also have no idea if people, because I hear people talking about their signs all the time. Again, I don't believe in that kind of stuff, so that's probably why I haven't looked into it too much. But what is the case? I saw someone else say they're a Scorpio.
Dates between
what does all these things mean?
March 21st and April 19th. You would be an Aries.
I would be an Aries. Okay. So chat, help. And why would you guys assume is that a common trait of an Aries to be stubborn? Is that the thought there? Okay. Also, let's see here. Amelo Fellow says T Shrooms got moves, and Indie Rock Crypto says it's amazing.
Yes.
It's very amazing. Yeah. I mean, listen, T Shroom, I think that should be a new thing that you get up in your new, if we get a certain like count for videos, you get up in your little studio there in your art gallery and you do some more dances for us.
Yeah. Well, I think Piper already said that his bagpipes are broken right now, so we can't do our duo.
Come on.
But we got a big announcement, guys. Piper said he's going to be in Tactical Trades tonight. So that's going to be pretty big.
That's right. Yeah. Yes, he did.
Yeah. So let's make sure we'll have that. Piper also just said he's a Sagittarius, which I too am a Sagittarius.
What does that mean? What is this? So
it means everything, Tim.
No, that didn't explain anything. What does that actually mean? What is a Sagittarius? What's special about you as a Sagittarius?
I don't know. The other thing about the zodiac symbols is that the stars have moved since they were started. So nobody is actually anything that they think that they are, because all the stars that you would have been born under during a certain amount of time are now totally out of that synchronization. So
yeah. Katzman says Bill Nobles knows about zodiac signs. Maybe we'll have to, next time we have him on, we'll get a full breakdown of who we are as people.
Indie Rock Crypto said, I married a Sag.
I don't even know what that means.
A Sagittarius.
No, it's a Sagittarius, but I'm like, that's what.
I married a Sag. She's been good to me. She's a good Sag.
Oh my goodness. Let's see. Mark Joe says he's a Leo. All right.
You know what we should do is I bet Bill Noble would have a lot more to say than we do, because he tracks all that kind of stuff. I think he's more into like the summer solstice and the eclipses and stuff, which has a lot.
Yeah.
There's a little bit more friction there. There's a little more traction is the word I'm looking for. It seems like there's a little more going on with those.
We're seeing chat kind of get. I don't think people really know what this is, because Drew says Sagittariuses are handsome, but then Crypto Trade says he's a Sag. So we're seeing some inconsistencies here. Are they handsome? Are they not? Seems like the evidence is not really stacking up.
A little bit subjective. What is handsome? Because people are handsome on the inside, like me.
Okay, here we go. Good question. We'll wrap out with this question. Serious question. And I'm going to go to answer again. We don't answer this question very often, but I'll answer it again. Always be positive, be grateful. Asking the question that a lot of people are asking. By the way, always be positive. There's a video I made about it. You can go back and watch me give a fuller explanation. He says, "What happened with you and Crypto Jeb? You were really cool on the show and suddenly disappeared." I was pretty cool on that show, wasn't I? No, I mean, honestly, people are trying to make it a lot more dramatic than it actually is. I'll be honest, like, I don't think anyone, everyone was kind of sad about the way it went down. There was just differences of opinions, with me kind of taking on a bigger role there. And Jeb, he was ready to come back, and just where the company was at the moment. We had some disagreements about what the company should look like going forward. We also agreed that it was going to be really hard for the entire company to stay around and continue to make it financially. Remember, all this happened at the bottom of the bear market. So I made the decision for myself. I was like, hey, it is time for me to spread my wings. I'm glad Jeb is back, though. Like, guys, go watch Jeb's show. He still does a great stuff. I love Jeb. Hope he's doing very well. He has a great growing family. It was just time for me to leave. It was time for me to spread my wings and go away. And no ill will. I wish Jeb the best. He wishes me the best. Just in case people want to know, him and I text from time to time. So there's not this hatred, but people want to make it into something bigger. I'll go ahead and answer the question everyone else is asking. Tim and T-Shroom, did you guys try to steal the company? No, we did not try to steal the company. And if you actually even go back to what Jeb says, I know that's what a lot of people are claiming. Jeb doesn't even think that that's what happened. So again, I know it's the internet, and the internet likes to run with things and make things crazy, but it's really not that crazy. It's a lot less interesting than you guys would like to think it is. Love Jeb, though. And again, I don't answer that question very often because it starts this whole rabbit trail of people trying to say, oh, like the craziest one I've seen, like, is Jeb on drugs? No, Jeb is not on drugs. Like, Jeb loves Jesus. He would never do drugs. Like, I think Jeb's one of the last people in the world I ever would do drugs.
I think you can both love Jesus and do drugs, for the record.
Well, people accuse him of like hard drugs, and it's just not true.
I think being addicted to drugs and having that interfere with your life is different. But that's okay.
Swashbuckling says, I can't do Jesus and crypto every day. I'm Christian, but Jesus. I don't know what that means, but thank you for the comment there. Swashbuckling Scallywag. What a name, by the way. Swashbuckling Scallywag. That's a new
Jesus
favorite
crypto.
of mine. Jesus crypto. Oh, goodness. Yeah, guys. So that's going to probably wrap out our show for today, but hopefully that answers your guys' questions. Again, if you want to know more about the story, what happened, I made a video about that. It's actually our top viewed video. It's on our channel. You guys can go watch that. I better explain kind of where I was in life and what was happening and why it was time to go ahead and split. But with that said, though, guys, it is after 10 a.m. Thank you so much for being here. We'll see a couple of you guys here, our members, at 3 o'clock. And we'll see the rest of you at 6 p.m. for tactical trades with Army Piper coming back on tonight. Make sure you're there for all that. Love you guys. You guys have a fantastic day. See you tomorrow.
Trying to make paper, turn that better to cake. Money like Lego, connect the dots, stack bank. We are investing bros. We are investing bros. Army Pipe, lethal on trade. Entries and exits, worthy of praise. Tim, the professor, the TA. Shout it out loud on the PA. T-Shroom's news, got the word. Doing better than what he deserves. Beamer, leave no evidence. Soon fly coop with his dividend. Trying to make paper, turn that better to cake. Money like Lego, connect the dots, stack bank. We are investing bros. We are investing bros.